Hi, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Coffee. And for those of you who do know me, I'm Coffee. Welcome back. For a while now, I've had a growing interest in indie games. I find that the art direction, gameplay mechanics, storytelling ability, and the overall quality that independent developers bring to the table is nothing short of revolutionary. So, in an effort to work through my ever-growing backlog, I've decided to make these videos talking about the games I enjoy, going into why I like them, why I think they work or don't, and hopefully highlighting these games for those of you who might not have heard about them. I'll do my best to not spoil everything these games have to offer, though I will be showing footage of environments, characters, and a lot of gameplay, so consider yourself spoiler warned. Without further delay, today I wanted to talk about Fatum Betula is an atmospheric exploration game with an emphasis on environmental puzzles, developed by Bryce Bucher. Some of you might remember this developer from the time I played Mysteries Under Lake Ophelia over on Twitch. And much like Lake Ophelia, Fatum Betula excels at instilling a mix of serenity and dread into the player, giving us environments akin to dreams, nightmares, and places in between. In the game, you'll find yourself exploring these environments, all with their own unique atmosphere and stories to tell. At the beginning of the game, you're told about this tree, or birch to be precise. You're told that this tree and this land are one and the same. You're given 3 empty vials with which you are told to do what you must, but don't feed it what you bleed. And after you acquire these vials is where player agency comes in. Now the fate of this tree, this world, and perhaps reality itself is up to you. In Fatum Betula, you will do a good amount of walking and interacting with characters. All characters have their own motives, most will ask something of you which you can assist them or ignore their wishes entirely. Along with the vials you were given at the start, you'll find different items along the way that will serve in both assisting the beings of this land or even flat out destroying them. This is where the puzzle aspect of Fatum Betula takes place. You'll be doing a lot of experimenting with questlines and outcomes. Depending on who you choose to assist and how, you'll get different liquids to fill your vials with, and it's up to you to do with these as you see fit. The game asks you to take your time, take the world in, think about the information you've been given, and make sure you're looking around and exploring, as there are many secrets to look out for. I am a big fan of games with quality environmental puzzles, and this game is a great example of the kind of puzzle structure I look out for. While playing, you'll notice that some of the tasks you are given are interwoven with or even conflict with one another. For example, do you feed this anthropomorphic cat that tells you they are hungry? Or do you poison them, as this ominous ghostly handhead person asks you to do? You'll be given a lot of choices, as there is a decent amount of characters to get to know. Not all of them will be as apparent as feeding a cat. Some are indeed very cryptic, but they're all thoughtfully written. Apologies if this all sounds confusing. I find it difficult to talk about this game without outright spoiling it all. So if this at all sounds insane, it's partly because of that, and the game feels very esoteric by design as well. But trust me that once the gameplay clicks with you, it just clicks. It's a game where you'll spend a lot of time experimenting, and in that way it's kind of sandboxy. This is another great example for a game that doesn't play into the traditional characteristics of video games, such as beating levels, gaining points, or winning. There's not a lot of winning in the traditional sense, but it's definitely an incredible experience. Fatum Betula also has a good amount of endings, most of them feeling profound, terrifying, or thought-provoking. The game is also quite short. Going in without prior knowledge, my first playthrough took about 40 minutes, and subsequent runs took 15 minutes or less, since after the first one, you get a good idea of what to do and are familiar enough with the game world that you can just get around quickly and beeline it to your destinations. Fatum Betula's ambiance is incredibly charming. The visuals feel PS1 era inspired, and all the environments are quite crunchy and pixelated. The approach to each environment can range from liminal to serene to surreal, and honestly even terrifying. Every environment, although of moderate size to explore, has a good amount of stuff to do, and each environment has a really strong identity of its own. You have environments like this forest, for example, that seems to be forever stuck in autumn, and when you tie in the music, it feels like, although peaceful, there's just something about it that feels off-key, no matter how beautiful it is. The characters are also a very important part of Fatum Betula's world building, and are cleverly written. I found a lot of dialogue to be thought-provoking, while also managing to get a chuckle out of me here and there throughout my playthrough. Going back to the forest setting for a second, there are two characters in this area that I could find. Both of them deal with immortality. One of them desires it, and the other suffers from it. So when you take into context what the characters are going through and the area that surrounds them, it all makes sense. A forest forever stuck in autumn is a forest forever alive, but also forever dying. When I realized this, I had to pause, look around, and soak up more of this atmosphere. This game is so thoughtfully put together that I'm genuinely blown away. Personally, I think Fatum Betula is a work of art. I don't want to seem like I'm trying to hype anyone up for it, but I genuinely just really love this game. I love how the puzzles are structured. The player choices in the game are a lot more freeing and experimental than what I'm used to seeing. And to top it all off, the atmosphere is just perfection. I give this game a rating of 10 liquid bone vials out of 10. And if you like experimental games where you walk around and mess with the fabric of reality, I can't recommend this game enough. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.